We're in the Hamburg suburb of Horn for the 97th running of the German Derby. This traditional test for 3-year-olds is at one and the same time the high point of Germany's racing season and a ranking social event. Guests of honor this year were Federal President Heinrich Lübke and his wife, who were given an almost royal welcome. The 40,000 spectators on hand saw a picture book start, and they're off. "18 thoroughbreds making up this field, and they pass the stands in a tight pack. Kraval and the odds-on favorite Waldmeister lead the field. Arion is third. Coming out of the first turn, it's Waldmeister still in the lead. The pace picks up. Waldmeister still out in front of the backstretch. Ilix, number 4, with jockey Langner aboard, pulls up on the outside. In the far turn, it's still a question mark. Waldmeister begins dropping back. Ilix and Arion vie for the lead, and it's a battle coming into the home stretch. Ilix pulls out in front and wins the German Derby by 1 1/4 lengths going away. Jockey Langner wins his first blue ribbon. Ilix proves a worthwhile descendant for the Gamshoff stables. His father, Orsini, and Ticino, his grandfather, were both past winners of the prized blue ribbon. Shipbuilding has also entered the era of automation. The advantages, less upkeep and greater safety. Germany's first contactless automatic system is based on a network of electronic semiconductor elements. Developed by AEG, it can be used for all control and adjustment functions in industrial complexes as well as ships. The fundamental units of the system, printed circuits, are produced at the Industrial Electronics Factory in Seligenstadt outside of Frankfurt. They are lightweight and space-saving and are rife with transistors, resistors, and diodes. The circuits are then coated with bakelite, which protects them from the effects of dust, moisture, and extreme temperatures. These printed circuits are then joined into units which are capable of maintaining a constant watch on an entire mechanical complex. At AEG's test laboratory for shipbuilding in Hamburg, the circuits are run through simulation tests to check their individual performances as well as their functional capacity when integrated with other units. A test in the weather chamber places a circuit under extreme temperatures. When the entire unit is assembled, it once more undergoes a thorough checkout. Then the installation on board begins. The St. Michaelis is a tanker which was built for the Hamburg Süd Company at the AG Weser Company in Bremen. The launching is scheduled within a few days. The complicated wiring on the bridge is underway. Both the measurement and control units have been incorporated into one panel. Below deck, we find the automatic control center in this panel in the machine room. A data registrator assimilates information and keeps check on more than 200 facts involving the ship's machinery and the supporting units. The final touches are completed in the machine room. And the day of the trial voyage has arrived. The St. Michaelis leaves Columbus Dry Dock at Bremerhaven. The ship can be directly controlled from the bridge via the automatic control center. With the St. Michaelis, a 75,000-tonner, Germany passed the 1 million ton mark in tanker production. The ship is destined to shuttle between Kuwait and Wilhelmshaven to keep the German refinery supplied with crude oil. This tanker is the first of the German commercial fleet which doesn't require around-the-clock crews. The maintenance crew can leave the ship just like any white-collar worker, confident that the automatic control center will keep tabs on everything until sunrise. Experts figure it won't be long now before navigation itself will become automated, eliminating still one more utopian idea from yesteryear. This apartment in the exclusive suburban Hamburg Castle Hotel in Tremsbüttel is reserved for a 26-year-old multimillionaire who 5 years ago was poorer than a church mouse. His name, Paul McCartney. Profession, Beatle. He and his friends and fellow millionaires, George, John, and Ringo, recently blitzed through Germany in 3 days, and Hamburg was one stop on their concert tour. They began their astounding growth to the world's highest-paid beat band right here in Hamburg, along the famous Rennbahn back in 1960. These days, the 4 men from Liverpool earn about $5,000 per day. Their arrival time and destination in Hamburg was supposed to be a secret. 5:30 a.m. in the suburb of Ahrensburg, track 2. But the fans were there, about 700 in all, and a total of 3 policemen to get us through. From then on, they followed their heroes wherever they went. The hotel was surrounded by police, for which those of us on the tour were most grateful. 1:30 p.m. The Beatles are up and about. 4 hours after the first concert, the police in Hamburg send out an alarm. The fans have broken through. The Beatles, meantime, calmly answer a battery of questions at a press conference.
Very good, obviously.
George, do you wear long pants in wintertime?
Do you wear long pants in winter? No, I don't think, if we were tired of it, then we'd stop, because there's no need to we started off wanting money like everybody else, but when you get money, you don't have to go on any longer. We only go on because we enjoy it, and we enjoy making records, and we enjoy singing things. That's the only reason.
And the second concert gets underway with guitars, amplifiers, speakers, and the fans all going full blast. For them, the greatest. And for the Beatles, apparently more fun than anything else they could think of. At those prices, I couldn't argue. Fun or serious art? That's a question being asked today about a new form in modern art, not much older than the fame of the Beatles, pop art. Many consider it art in this age of pre-packaging and frozen foods, and its subject matter is derived from every area of reality. Hans Neuendorf, a young German art dealer who believes in pop art, explained it on cue this way. Pop artists paint the everyday of today, which, as you know, is overrun with washing machines, advertising, traffic signs, and so forth. Their nature studies don't portray virgin landscape, but rather expressways, for example. Neuendorf's Hamburg gallery currently has an exhibition by America's Allan D'Arcangelo on display, variations on the theme highways. Neuendorf says, D'Arcangelo's paintings are in Germany for the first time, and at first glance they give a somewhat fearful impression, cold, unpopulated. But their geometrical construction doesn't destroy a certain something which we might call the expression of a truck driver's sense of romance, for example, or call it modern wanderlust. Allan D'Arcangelo teaches at a New York art academy, and he's considered one of pop art's most expressive voices. Critics have called him a constructor of daydreams. Reality looks this way. There's little time for romantic thoughts and wanderlust. Over $15 billion have been spent on improving and extending West German roads since the end of the war, a sum which places the Federal Republic in second place behind the United States in highway construction expenditures. The development of the automobile from a mechanical curiosity into transportation for every man within 8 decades can best be seen in a museum maintained by the world's oldest auto manufacturer, the Daimler-Benz factory in Stuttgart. This model was the favorite of the film stars in the 30s. 6 cylinders, 180 horsepower. The sports car of 1927, top speed 112 miles an hour. In its first 15 years, over 1 million visitors have visited the museum, 40% of which came from abroad. The official government car from 1925, here bearing President von Hindenburg. (1913), poet Gerhard Hauptmann, an auto fanatic in his day. And as cars grew in stature and popularity, embellishments followed. The automobile's forefathers become recognizable: horse-drawn carriages. Drivers around the turn of the century felt very masculine indeed. They impressed their contemporaries no end. The air-filled, steel-rimmed wheel developed from the rubber-covered, spoked wooden wheels. And these are the oldest cars. Around 1890, passengers sat across from one another as they did in carriages. The first usable cars were constructed in 1885 by Karl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler. A reporter wrote at the time, "The car rolls on without any help from the feet, taking all the curves in stride, leaving passers-by breathless and completely beside themselves." Sailing enthusiasts and contestants from 21 countries met on the Baltic Sea for the 84th Kiel Week competition. Most prominent guest, Prince Philip. Queen Elizabeth's husband is a sailing enthusiast. Although he had to forego entering the field in Kiel, his ocean-going yacht, the Bloodhound, was in a class all by itself. But he did sail the course for fun and seemed to enjoy himself immensely. In competition itself, 600 boats left the starting line. The rapidly changing winds and the many lulls made the competition difficult, but most of the prizes in the 4 Olympic classes were won by Swedish and German entries. The fjords at Kiel are one of Europe's favored sailing areas, and there's growing talk of holding the sailing competition for the 1972 Olympics here.